The ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to address the Liberation Movement Summit. It's happening in Kempton Park, Ekurhuleni. Ramaphosa will be joined by his counterparts from Namibia, Zimbabwe and Mozambique. The parties have been deliberating about the way forward as they face a number of challenges. Now, Khayelihle Khumalo joins us, perhaps to give us an update. Kaya, good morning. Talk to us about the program and the expectations ahead of our president's address. We're obviously looking at liberation movements on the continent and their ability to govern. Some of the trends not so favorable at times coming through. So what is actually going to be discussed in terms of implementation and the way forward?
Well, certainly, Lisa, it is a very quite challenging space for these liberation movements in their respective countries. So this is just a matter of them meeting together to look at ways of really reconnecting with the people in their respective region. But also what is very key here is that these are parties with rich heritage. I mean, they've produced some of the luminaries, some of the founding fathers and founding mothers in their countries. And they're meeting here amid a very harsh environment where we're seeing the rise of nationalism, protectionism. You know, we're looking at the tariffs, so quite a number of economic challenges. And when you look at yesterday, for example, quite a number of leagues from the mother bodies to their just affiliates. They presented their reports in terms of the challenges, the trends, the areas also where there are positives. But to really look at the significance of the third day, where we're expecting the leaders from ANC to SABC and Frelimo to join these discussions. We're joined by the ANC national spokesperson, Ms. Bengu. So once again, ma'am, thank you so much for your time. We've seen yesterday where the leagues presented these reports, and I would imagine maybe just in terms of the state of affairs, there are quite a number of trends that are emerging. Maybe just to give us a snapshot, how are these liberation movements doing?
You know, we are going to be, good morning, Kaya, and to the viewers of SABC. There was one common thread to all of the presentations and representations made by different parties that participated in delivering, whether it was messages of support or whether it was the speeches and the panel discussions, very rich panel discussions. We will be putting together a compendium of all that was covered. Common thread, self-reliance for Africa, and that Africa is not a country, it's a continent. That's the second point. The third one being economic freedom, economic emancipation. The fourth one, the youth to the center, youth and women to the center. And the fifth one is we will choose who are our allies across the globe on our own terms. The sixth one, and I'm just speaking about things that have really resonated and come to mind, and they were embedded in all of the themes as if people had already discussed them, starting from former President Joaquim Chissano all the way to the youth leaguers and the women's leagues. The last one is that our economy can become a good baseline for how a continent lifts itself up and pulls itself by the bootstraps through beneficiating our rich minerals and through setting standards and targets and conditions for access to our minerals. And obviously there are a number of other mechanisms such as Africa, Free Trade Continental Agreement, that the injunction of this summit, hopefully that will be carried through into the declaration, is that we activate regional integration practically, not so much from slogans anymore, so that we can deliver that missing democratic dividend, particularly in relation to economic participation by the people of the region.
Ms. Bengu, obviously we've seen quite a number of trends in the region. I mean, there was a point where we saw the one-party rule in these countries, but I mean, for example, when we spoke to former Mozambican President Chissano, he spoke about the issue of reconnecting with the people, saying that the people should be part and parcel of solution making. I would imagine that's one of the key issues in terms of re-engaging with the people and being able to find really that particular spot, especially, it's okay, with lovely, and it's a very cold morning. So with all these challenges, so how do you reconnect with the electorate?
A big area of focus yesterday, and particularly from the youth and the women's leagues, and the Pan-African Women's Organization and many other participants. And I'm certain that given how President Shisano set the tone when he spoke, literally everybody that spoke followed through. And he spoke strongly about youth development and young people being the solution to the future, and creating spaces for young people, and that they must take up their own political agency. And he spoke at length about the issue of going back to the base with humility, reconnecting with our people, reminding our people about the story of the liberation struggle, and the fact that the liberation struggle is a continuum. It's not something that you say, okay, after 50 years we're done. And where we've done badly, and he said we must concede where we've done badly, and concede with honesty. But we must continue to remind Africans, and particularly the people of our region, about the strides that have been made to move away from colonialism.
All right. Thank you so much indeed, Ms. Mahlengo Beng. Of course, that's the national ANC spokesperson, really just touching on those key areas. A very rich program today here, Liesl. So with that, back to you in studio.